On June 15, 2024, what started as a routine caving expedition turned into a nightmare that would haunt four friends for the rest of their lives. Jake, an experienced cave explorer, led his companions Sarah, Mike, and Emily into the depths of Midnight Creek Cave, unaware of the terrifying ordeal that awaited them. The day began like any other adventure for the group. They had meticulously planned their expedition, packed all the necessary gear, and were excited to explore one of the lesser-known cave systems in the area. Little did they know that their preparation would be put to the ultimate test. As the group ventured deeper into the cave system, the air grew thick with tension. The narrow passages twisted and turned, leading them further from the safety of daylight. Jake's headlamp illuminated the way, casting eerie shadows on the limestone walls. Sarah, usually the most talkative of the group, fell silent as they navigated through increasingly tight spaces. Mike, the group's geologist, marveled at the cave formations, pointing out stalactites and stalagmites that had formed over millions of years. Emily, the youngest and least experienced of the four, tried to mask her growing unease with nervous laughter. Suddenly, a low rumble echoed through the cavern. Before they could react, the ground beneath their feet began to shift. Rocks tumbled from above, blocking their path back to the surface. In a matter of seconds, the four friends found themselves cut off from the world, trapped in the unforgiving belly of the earth. The initial shock gave way to panic as they realized the gravity of their situation. Jake, trying to maintain his composure, assessed the damage. The cave-in had completely sealed off their exit, leaving them with no clear way out. As the dust settled, the reality of their predicament sank in. They were trapped hundreds of feet underground, with limited supplies and no way to call for help. The darkness pressed in on them, and the sound of dripping water became a maddening soundtrack to their isolation. Jake took charge, rationing their food and water. They had enough for 3 days if they were careful. He knew they needed to stay calm and conserve energy, but the fear in his companion's eyes told him it wouldn't be easy. As hours turned into days, the group's resolve was pushed to its limits. The cold, damp air seeped into their bones, and hunger gnawed at their stomachs. But it was the psychological toll that proved most challenging. In the pitch-black cave, time lost all meaning, and hope began to fade like a distant memory. Sarah, once the group's optimist, fell into long periods of silence, broken only by occasional sobs. Mike tried to keep spirits up by sharing geological facts about the cave, but his voice grew weaker with each passing hour. Emily, to everyone's surprise, showed unexpected strength, often comforting the others when despair threatened to overwhelm them. Midnight Creek Cave harbored dangers beyond just isolation. As they searched for a way out, the group encountered treacherous underwater passages, unstable rock formations, and narrow squeezes that threatened to trap them forever. Each obstacle seemed designed to break their spirit and body. On the third day, while exploring a side passage, Mike nearly fell into a hidden pit. The incident shook the group, reminding them of the constant danger that surrounded them. Jake realized that their survival depended not just on finding an exit, but on navigating the cave's many deadly secrets. With their situation growing dire, Jake proposed a risky plan. They would attempt to navigate a partially flooded tunnel that might lead to an exit. The decision was unanimous. It was their only chance. As they prepared to dive into the unknown, each member of the group faced their deepest fears. Sarah, who had always been afraid of water, trembled as she put on her wetsuit. Mike double-checked their makeshift diving gear, cobbled together from their remaining equipment. Emily said a silent prayer, hoping that her limited swimming skills would be enough. Just as they were about to execute their plan, nature threw another curveball. A sudden downpour outside caused water levels in the cave to rise rapidly. What was once their potential escape route now became a deadly threat, forcing them to retreat to higher ground. The group watched in horror as the water rose inch by inch, threatening to trap them in an ever-shrinking space. They huddled together on a small ledge, their hopes of escape literally drowning before their eyes. Day 5 in the cave pushed the group to their breaking point. Exhaustion, dehydration, and the constant darkness took their toll. Hallucinations set in, and tensions flared as survival instincts kicked into overdrive. It was in this moment of despair that true character was revealed. Mike, delirious from lack of food and water, began to rave about sacrificing one of them to save the others. Sarah retreated into herself, barely responding to the world around her. Jake struggled to maintain order, his leadership tested like never before. In their darkest hour, Emily stumbled upon a small opening they had previously overlooked. It was barely wide enough for a person to squeeze through, but it offered a glimmer of hope. With renewed energy, they worked tirelessly to widen the gap. Using their bare hands and whatever tools they had left, the group chipped away at the rock. Every small victory, every inch gained, fueled their determination. For the first time in days, they felt a sense of purpose and the possibility of survival. After what seemed like an eternity, a faint beam of light penetrated the darkness. The group's elation was palpable as they realized their ordeal might finally be coming to an end. But the cave had one last challenge in store for them. The sight of light reinvigorated the group. Sarah, who had been nearly catatonic, sprang to life, working alongside the others with newfound strength. Jake allowed himself a moment of hope, daring to believe that they might actually make it out alive. The passage to freedom was treacherous, requiring them to navigate a series of tight squeezes and vertical climbs. With their strength nearly depleted, each member of the group had to dig deep to find the will to continue. The thought of seeing their loved ones again pushed them forward. Emily, the smallest of the group, led the way, squeezing through gaps that seemed impossibly narrow. Mike's geological knowledge proved invaluable as he identified stable handholds and footholds. Sarah, facing her claustrophobia head-on, pushed through panic attacks to keep moving. After 6 harrowing days underground, Jake, Sarah, Mike, and Emily finally emerged from Midnight Creek Cave. The sunlight was blinding, and the fresh air felt foreign to their lungs. They were battered, bruised, and forever changed by their experience. As they stumbled out of the cave entrance, they were met by a search and rescue team that had been looking for them. The outside world had changed in their absence. Worried families, media coverage, and a community that had rallied to find them. The contrast between the isolating darkness of the cave and the overwhelming attention they now received was jarring. Years later, as they gathered to commemorate their survival, the 4 friends reflected on their experience. They realized that Midnight Creek Cave, for all its horrors, had given them a unique perspective on life. They had seen the worst place to be trapped, faced their deepest fears, and emerged not just alive, but profoundly changed. The cave had taught them that in the darkest of places, hope can be found. That when pushed to the brink, humans are capable of extraordinary feats of courage and resilience, and that sometimes it takes facing our worst nightmares to discover our true strength. As they shared their story with others, they hoped that their experience would serve as both a warning and an inspiration, a reminder of nature's power, the importance of preparation, and the incredible capacity of the human spirit to overcome even the most harrowing of circumstances. The Midnight Creek Cave nightmare had ended, but its impact would be felt for generations to come. It stood as a powerful reminder that even in the worst of places, the human will to survive can light the way to freedom. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe our channel for more amazing stories.